It's your favorite author back again with Mtawala, Darkside of the Moon's behind the scenes take 2. So in this one, I wanted to answer some questions. And my first question that I have is, what was your initial inspiration for writing this book? Now, initially, I was inspired by the fact that I love werewolves and I love the whole lycanthrope mythology behind werewolf transformation and them receiving their powers and abilities. So I dislike shows that I dislike when shows display the werewolves as being weak and docile, even though they were elite werewolves for their pack. And movies like Evolution, Rise of the Lycans, or just Evolution is the first one. The wolves was getting decapitated by the vampires with little to no effort at all. Like there was no resistance. The werewolves would just be demolished by the vampires with one slick stroke of their hand. The werewolves just dropped, and I'm like, damn, at least give them some powers. You know what I'm saying? So werewolves being depicted as weak was my initial drive to write this book. I wanted to change the narrative around werewolves and how they are being presented to the masses with the whole werewolves versus vampires versus witches. And upon that initial inspiration to write this book, I have a passion for writing in itself. I normally write poems and things of that nature. So I just changed that same passion for writing poems into writing in general, to put my thoughts on paper, to bring what I see werewolves should be to life. And I also wanted to add in the mythical ideologies of the African spirituality inside of my book as well, because those are things that isn't discussed in main media and things of that nature. So I wanted to give that light as well. Also in my book there is Swahili speaking languages. I always wanted to learn Swahili. I did Duolingo to learn some Swahili, but I fell off with doing that. So I added Swahili into the book for my readers to read it and probably learn some Swahili from it as well. And I also want them to come across as something that can be fed and revered at the same time. So those are my initial reasons for writing this book. That I want my werewolves to be depicted and illustrated in a different light. And hopefully you get that when you do read Mtawala, Dark Side of the Moon. And my next question that I have for you guys is, what is the biggest challenge in structuring the plot for this book? So my biggest challenge in structuring the plot in this book was trying to get the 3 pillars of the book to all look as their respective pillars should look. So the 3 pillars that I'm referencing is the werewolves, the witches, and the vampires. So it was difficult for me to try to bring out each specific clan's powers and abilities, and trying to make all 3 clans look as regal as possible as far as like in their own realm, because each of the 3 pillars, the wolves, the witches, and the vampires, control a specific area inside the world of Mtawala. And I wanted that to come across in the food that they ate, in the way that they dress, and things of that nature. So that part was kind of difficult because I didn't have much to go on. So structuring that part inside of the plot became tedious, and I was trying to go back and forth with my writing to make sure I didn't leave out anything, or you could tell, or so that the readers could tell that, oh, they're in the witches area because they're eating this kind of food, or you see this kind of garment on a person, so that means that they're in the witches area, or you see the fur lying around the area, so you in the wolves area, or you see the wolves den, so you're in the wolves area. So trying to get each pillar's unique characteristics was difficult in writing the book and creating the plot. And the next question that I have is, why did I choose to write from this particular point of view? In my story, I have an omniscient point of view. And normally, this omniscient point of view isn't something that is generally favored by publishers and readers. But I chose this point of view because I wanted to give my werewolves a unique ability where they could, once they go through the trial, they'll be able to use an ability that allows them to read each of the werewolves' minds so they can stay in sync when they go out and do their pack battles. So I use this omniscient point of view throughout the story, where each character, you can peer inside their mind and look and see the things that they're thinking, or the things that they don't want to reveal to a member. While they're fighting, you can hear their thoughts going through their minds. So I try to give the readers the overall arc and point of view of each character's thought process while they're fighting, or while they're having an emotional turnover, or while they're going through the process of character development. You will have that point of view of their mindset, their thought patterns, and their actions as well. So you get a full arcing development of the character at that time. So I hope you guys actually do enjoy that point of view, because it comes into play throughout the entirety of the story. And I think it adds an extra layer of an extra element to the werewolves as a whole, as an ability that they has never been shown to have before in book or in other media. But you had the vampires, where they could do specific things with people's minds. They can erase people's minds. They can modify their memories. They can see their actions through their blood while drinking it in some forms of fashion media. So I wanted to give the werewolves something along those lines, and that's why I chose an omniscient point of view. So with my next question I have, what message do I hope the readers will take away from this book? So this one is a complicated question as well, and I think I'll break it up with the two main characters of the book, that being Rahul from the male's perspective and Amira from the female's perspective. So from Rahul's perspective, I want all the readers to know that, to take away that your discipline can get you further in life than you being overly emotional and overreactive as a male. Disciplines is something that can carry you far in life if you adhere to it. And from Amara's perspective, she is very strong-headed and determined to achieve her goals. So in that regard, she tries not to dwell in her emotions to get a task completed, even though it's something that she really wants to do. So I think the overall arcing message that I would want, the readers to take away from the book is to, despite the things that you're going through, you will need the discipline, the fortitude to grow past that, to achieve the goal that you set for yourself and for your future. The other question I have is, how did you develop the main characters' motivations and backstories? So the main character of the story is Rahul. he is the prince of the werewolves pack, and Rahul comes off as a pompous, overconfident boy who is struggling to find his way in the midst of a war between upcoming a looming war between the vampires, the wolves, and the witches. So because he's so lackadaisical, lacks motive, but he's also hubris, people in his tribe thinks that he isn't good enough to be an alpha to lead their pack. So he wants to prove them wrong, and he wants to change his ways. But for now, he's stuck in his ways. He hasn't figured out how exactly he can do that. He hasn't even gone through his transformation process. So people think that he isn't actually the prince, the alpha's son, because he doesn't have the ability to even transform. So will he grow that ability? I don't know. You have to read the book. And don't forget to follow me, like, comment, subscribe for more updates on Mtawala, Dark Side of the Moon.